A get-right game for the Golden State Warriors. Welcome to Dubs Talk Live, presented by Fit Aid. This is the blackberry pineapple flavor, so delicious stuff.
Sounds good, yeah.
The Warriors got back on track. Specifically, this was a game where Klay Thompson got back on track, shooting 50% from the field. This is Warriors insider Monte Poole. I'm Kerith, Burke. The get-right stuff, though, Monte, seemed to happen this morning. Michael Green explaining that there was a players' meeting and that guys addressed the elephants, plural, in the room. Why do you think that needed to happen?
Well, this team is a defending championship team. They're 6-9. They haven't won a road game yet. The defense has been an issue almost every single game. The offense has been chaotic outside of Steph. They've got a bunch of things to deal with.
You just unspooled a lot.
I mean, there's a lot
yeah.
there. There's a lot there, and you know, much of it is, you know, the bench has been criticized appropriately so. You know, Klay's shooting efficiency has been off. Tonight is his first 50% game of the season. So there were a number of things this team needed to get down to, and meetings aren't always great, but this meeting needed to happen, and if tonight is any indication, it's going to be good for them.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's hear from Klay Thompson, who told us a little bit more about what the conversation was like.
Steve said he thought you kind of actively took a more patient approach to the game tonight. I mean, how conscious, I guess, was that decision?
Yeah, I thought about that a lot. You know, I watched a lot of film, and you know, sometimes. Yeah, I mean, me and Draymond had a great conversation this morning. He's just told me to be patient and trust the team, and I thought I exemplified that tonight.
Can you say you just watch film on the Phoenix game, or and I guess what did
Every
you see?
single game I play.
Well,
so yes, the Phoenix game.
Yeah. What did you see that I guess you felt like you really needed to correct?
Got great looks early, but might have rushed a few rather than swinging the ball and getting a really easy one. Not cutting with enough force, and I thought tonight I did that better, just cutting off the ball and being patient, and when you make the easy ones early, the hard ones go in later.
Michael said that you guys had a great team meeting this morning. Just want to know your thoughts on that, and if that conversation with Draymond was kind of part of that meeting as well.
Very constructive meeting, and Draymond definitely held the floor, and he's such a great motivator. So we all responded very well, and just looking forward to keep starting a new win streak.
I mean, how important are those kind of team player-only meetings, you know, or this early on to try to find your guys' rhythm and get going like you guys did tonight?
They can be very useful, and we thought that this morning was an incredible just time of growth for the whole team, and some early season adversity is right in front of us, and what's most important about that is how we respond, and I thought we responded very well tonight, and we played that Warriors brand of basketball that has made us the best team of the decade.
How good, in particular, did that possession late feel where it was kind of like swing, JaMychal hit you on the wing, and it kind of felt like maybe the dagger?
That felt awesome, especially when you swish the ball. That's the best feeling as a shooter, is tickling the twine like that, and it just felt incredible to have an efficient night from the field, and it's definitely going to be something for me to build on.
Steve, after the game on Wednesday, said that he just felt like there was a lack of commitment to the team and everything, and I'm just curious if you feel like this was a step in the right direction to kind of getting you guys all back on the page and for one common goal.
Yeah, it was definitely a big step in the right direction. And the common goal is defending our title. So, one foot in front of the other. Is that it?
I'm going to try to see if you can hit Moses' brother.
Oh my gosh, my bad. Not a bad flight.
Try to hit my line.
All right, so as you can tell by the paper airplane toss, the mood is a lot lighter today instead of after that Suns game when they moved to 0-8 on the road. So you could tell things were not well in Phoenix. The guys had yesterday off. this morning was the first time they all got together. There was
Yeah.
a shoot around, and Klay revealed, Draymond was the one who held the floor, and it was a time of growth for the whole team. So what do you think happened after that cooling off period, I guess, that they needed to discuss today?
Yeah, all the things that we just talked about
Yeah.
need to get out there in the open. You know, this is not the first time that the Warriors have had some team meetings this season, because they had many after after Draymond punched Jordan. But this was a different kind of meeting, and this was a meeting that addressed the team's performance directly, and what was wrong with it and what was right with it. And there were moments, and the Phoenix game was a great example, because there were so many moments that can be teachable. Steph Curry started off that game, I think he made his first 5 or 7 shots, I think, in a row. And at one point during Steph's hot streak, Klay had taken more shots than Steph. That shouldn't happen. When you have a guy that's on one, you got to feed that guy.
Hot hand, yeah.
Yeah, and you got to ride him as long as you can. And Klay was either oblivious to that or so busy trying to get himself going.
Yeah.
And I think these are things that you point out. You can get a better shot, Klay. And that's what Steve was saying after the game in Phoenix. And that's what Steve was saying before the game today, is that, when the ball moves, just have confidence that if you get open, it'll find you. It will find you. And Klay's he's made a living off of that, running and getting open and getting shots. You don't have to force it. And he did some of that tonight, 8 of 16 from the field, 4 of 10 from 3. He looked more like the Klay Thompson that Warrior fans have come to know and love.
Yeah, I find it interesting that Draymond was somebody who held the floor, because I think a lot of people were wondering, would the punch sort of defang what he can say in that locker room, his authority there. But that was, I think, positive to hear.
Yeah, I mean, I think Draymond's always going to have a voice. And the question was, would that voice be heard? Would it be listened to? Would it be respected as it had been before? And I think what he said, I don't know exactly what he said today, but obviously it was well received. And that's a good sign for this team, that Draymond was pretty much the guy who conducted the meeting and was the primary voice. Now, I'm sure other guys got involved and said their piece, but again, there were so many issues. This wasn't a 1 issue or 2 issue meeting. This was a 4 or 5 or 6 issue meeting.
Yep.
And so everybody had to get involved. And tonight, the way they came out, they held the Knicks to 19 points in the first quarter. Yeah. And this is a team that defensively has been in shambles. You've seen 30-point quarters, 35-point quarters, 40-point quarters against the Warriors this year. So this is something different. You had to let go of the rope a little bit late in the second quarter. But for the most part, the defense tonight was pretty tight.
Yeah, let's go back to Klay Thompson, because we've been hearing for several days now, especially with straight up, just Steve Kerr stating it plainly, he needs to relax and just play within the flow of the offense. Steph Curry didn't name Klay specifically, but he said you can't obsess over the stat sheet. My interpretation of that is he was talking about Klay. Understanding that Klay wants to get himself going, understanding that he wants to bust out, but some of those bust out attempts were interrupting the flow of the offense.
Absolutely.
So in this game, a much more patient and willing to pass and move the ball, Klay. And what happens when you move the ball, as you said, it went back to him. It always got back to him. He shot 50%, 8 of 16 in this one. I noticed how much Steph in particular was trying to get him going in this game.
He's been doing it all season.
Yeah, so it was almost like in that meeting there was a commitment. Like, we have to have a commitment to each other.
Yes.
And I feel like you could see that in their happiness for each other to make the ball start moving. 32 assists tonight, and everybody got involved when you look at the box score.
Yeah. You had 6 guys in double figures tonight, and so you had 32 assists. They had 12 or 13 assists in the first quarter, which that's the way to start a game.
There you go.
That's the tone you want to set.
Yeah.
We're sharing the ball. We're moving the ball. We're making the other team defend us. And what was happening before was they're doing a quick shooting thing, and teams were just not expending much energy on defense. Tonight, they made the Knicks work on defense, and that tells you a story. So I just think that when Klay hears what we're all seeing and is shown what we all can see, he's going to be receptive. He wants to win.
Yes.
And I think tonight, you saw that tonight in the way he was pretty selfless with the ball and took the right shots. And again, that helped him shoot as well as he did.
Yeah, we have some video examples of Klay making these good decisions, being as patient as he can. Let's go to the first quarter here, because you're going to see Klay pass up a shot. There it was. And as the Warriors move the ball, look at all this action on the floor. I think everybody touches that ball before get back to it. Look, I didn't notice that Steph was pointing
No.
at Klay actually, but there it is. It finally
There it
gets
is.
back.
Exactly.
Okay, then you go to the second quarter. Okay, Klay had some assists in this one.
Yeah, one.
There you go. Nope. Okay, so you stopped in the paint instead of forcing
Boom.
it up.
There it is.
Back to Wiggins. And look at this. Klay taps Wiggins on the chest and goes by. So happiness for each other, knowing that everybody will get their touches if that ball is flowing. And then there's an easy one at the start of the third quarter for Steph. There you go. This game looked like Warriors basketball
Yeah,
again.
it did. I mean, and this is the kind of game you've been waiting to see on defense and offense. There were some rugged moments, and the shooting wasn't efficient all night. But for the most part, you saw the ball moving. You saw the defense really cranked up and playing at a high level. And you saw the three-point shooting was pretty good. So they play games like this. The Knicks are not a great team. I think the Knicks are now 7-7 or something like that. So they're an okay team, not a great team. But if the Warriors move the ball and are patient, everybody gets involved. That's how you get 6 guys in double figures. And when they do that and they defend the way they did, they held these guys at 34% shooting.
Yeah.
When you do that and you shoot and you share the ball, the chances of you winning are pretty good. They had this game in hand the entire way. The Knicks made a couple of late runs, but the Klay dagger shot, I thought, at the end there, where about 4:30 left to go, that pretty much put them to bed.
Yeah, so as you mentioned, 6 players in double digits, 3 of them scoring 20 or more. Of course, Steph Curry leading the way with 24, also leading with 10 assists, but this didn't feel like it had to be a Herculean effort from Steph Curry again.
Yeah.
Okay, you don't need 50 points to beat the Knicks. It's going to help in the long run if this offense can share the load.
Yeah, we've seen so many games this season where Stephen had to, I don't want to say physically carry them, but at times there is a burden,
Yes.
where he really had to push these guys and pull them up the hill to victory. And, the other night when you score 50 and you don't win, it's like,
yeah.
the other guys have to be saying, okay, he's doing his part, but what
That's
about
right.
us?
That's right.
And I think that's part of what this meeting was about, too.
There you go. All right, so we saw a lot of touches, a lot of points, a lot of guys involved. When Dubs Talk Live presented by Fit Aid returns, we need to talk about the guys who aren't playing that much right now. How does that sound? Okay, we'll be right back.
Dubs Talk Live is presented by Fit Aid, the #1 post-workout recovery drink in America. Try now and visit drinkfitaid.com.
Heard you say something to me. Dana, I'm having, it happens in previous shows too. I'm having trouble hearing you. I know you're talking, but I can't pick up the words. I thought you said video, and I didn't know what video you were talking about.
I think he said he had video of the Klay shot with the 4:38 to go, that shot.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry I didn't catch that. Yeah. Yes, I do. Yeah. Yeah, I think we also need to start with the fouling as probably a really lingering, and then how that also translates into free throws, and then the Warriors missing a weird amount of them tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Problem going forward or not? Yeah. 26 personal fouls.
What the Knicks have, they were in the teens last time I looked.
Hey everybody, how are you
Knicks
on
had
YouTube?
16. Knicks had 16, yeah.
Oaktown A is asking, can we do this on the road? I have more faith that they can now that we've seen a game like this.
Yeah, I mean, road games, road success always begins with defense. You want to try and take the crowd out of the game early. And once you do that, you increase your chances of winning automatically. Because once a home team gets on a roll, once a home team gets on a roll, then you're really kind of, you're fighting it the rest of the way then. But if you can kind of, tell them in the first quarter, make a statement in the first quarter that, hey, we're serious tonight. Let them know early. Then they know they're going to be in for a fight. And in that instance, give yourself a better chance to win as a road team.
Yeah, I get that. Judy Ann says, all the Warriors played great tonight, so we've got a little flex from her. Yeah. Welcome back to Dubs Talk Live, presented by Fit Aid. Monte, Poole, Kerith, Burke, and Monte, for all of the good things we saw tonight.
Yeah.
There's just one lingering trouble spot. It's the fouling.
Yeah. Well, I think that's if they play good defense, there will be less fouling as we go forward. I think tonight a lot of the fouls that I saw at least were kind of careless fouls, unnecessary fouls. There were a couple of fouls. They're like, what are you doing? A guy is going up for a layup, and layup is pretty much in, and then you're hitting him. It's a little late. Yeah. So you don't mind the fouls that are out of good contested shots. But when you're contesting late and you foul somebody, then you've done double the damage, especially if the shot goes in. You're looking at three-point play. So, and I think in this instance, there were a few silly fouls. I think that's a habit they're still trying to break.
Okay.
But I think as the defense gets better and as guys become more familiar with the other guys around them, a lot of times you foul somebody because you're not sure you have help. And so you want to make sure.
Stop them.
You want to make sure that person's not getting an easy bucket. Mm-hmm. But if you think you'll have help, your chances of fouling are diminished because you think, okay, I don't have to because I got somebody behind me there.
Yeah.
And some of that's just communication.
And a team meeting can help that. I've
Yes.
got you. You're my brother. We're in this together.
Yeah.
So, rejoining in that way.
Exactly.
26 personal fouls there. Yeah, I shared my box score. And I think the Knicks were 32 of 34 from the stripe. So when you hand your opponent more than 30 points from the stripe, yikes. And the Warriors, on the other hand, only going 11 of 20, 55%. That feels a little weird. Let's just hope that that's one of those weird aberrations.
Curry missed 2 of 3 free throws.
What?
I mean, it may have happened before, but I know there's games where he's missed 2, but games where he missed more than he made, that's a really, really rare thing, and that's what happened tonight. So again, these are things they can fix, and I think they will, but right now, the message has to sink in that some of these fouls are just needless, pointless, mindless fouls.
Yeah.
And you cut those out and you cut your fouls down by 20% just like that.
All right, let's talk about the second-year players now. This was was it a DMP for Moody? No, he got
He got in late.
Okay, he got in pretty late. Jonathan Kuminga also 9
Played
minutes
little,
here. Well, they played the mop-up minutes at the end.
JK came in early, but then he didn't come in for a long time.
That's
until
right. I noticed at the end of the third quarter, he'd only played about 6 minutes.
Yeah.
So he got his time. He rotated in the first half, and it's like, okay.
Briefly.
What's happening? Why is he disappearing? And then we did get Steve Kerr explaining why Moody isn't playing, but let's start with JK.
Well, on a night like tonight, if you see your team defending the way it's defending, you see the patience on that end of the court, you ride that. And the guys that were in the game, by and large, played well.
Yep.
So I thought JaMychal Green was really good tonight. Jordan, his shooting was not great, but his energy was good. DiVincenzo, I thought, played well. So I think when you have that kind of activity off the bench, then it doesn't matter who you play. It's just you're playing the guys that are helping you win the game.
Yeah.
And I think that JK will get more minutes as he goes on. He didn't play last game because he was ill. Said he had a headache and his stomach was wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, he was
well,
all jacked
and that
up.
could flow into this game as well. He was available, but maybe.
Yes. So I wouldn't worry too much about JK. But like you said, Steve did just mention Moody's situation was that, I think Moses is still learning a couple things. One, there are certain passes you could make at the college level that are beautiful passes and lead to easy buckets for your teammates that they don't fly in the NBA.
You're talking about shovel passes in the paint.
I mean, he passes in the traffic and stuff like that. Yeah. And the other thing is that, Moody wants to be a great defender. He has the tools to be a great defender. He's got a long reach and everything. But sometimes, he's a little hyper about it, and therefore you get the foul. Yeah. And when you see a young player getting 3 fouls in 5 minutes, you know that, okay, pull back, young man, pull back. And so I think Moody's a good learner. I think he will adapt as he goes along. But when you win a game, I think the guys who don't play can understand why they didn't play. Yeah. And so tonight, if you're Moses or you're JK, you're like, we won. I didn't play a lot, but we won. And that should be the end of the story right there.
Yeah, Moses Moody was our guest on Dubs Talk, the podcast, and anytime I listen to him speak, his enthusiasm for this job comes through, his maturity comes through. What struck you in that conversation? We
already know Moses is an old soul. He's an old soul, man, and You know, his father is a very respected, one of the OGs of the community in Little Rock there, where, you know, he goes in and talks to some kids who don't want to be reached, you know, and he goes in and he talks to those kids. And Moses grew up around that. There's a center there that Moses spent a lot of time at, and so he sees these things. And so that's part of it, is just being around his father, who is patient with these kids that, you know, can be challenging. And so that's part of it. And the other thing about Moses, he said his brother Miles is more of an upbeat, kind of optimistic guy. Moses says he can be kind of hard on himself. And so I think that's part of it too. But the thing about Moses is that wherever he's gone, he's been successful because he's been able to think, absorb, and then apply. And I think that's where he is now with the NBA. He's applying some stuff. We've seen him apply some stuff this season that wasn't there last season. So his athleticism is better. You know, he says that's the yoga that he got from Kevon Looney. So you look at that, but mostly he'll get more minutes as the season goes on. But again, if you're the coach, you're going to ride who's helping you win games. And I think in time they want Steph and Klay and Draymond to play fewer minutes, and that means more minutes for the other guys. Tonight was a good start. Yeah,
and I know I'm jumping around, but just going back to JK tonight, with Steve Kerr explaining that he had J. Michael Green in the wrong role, where really he needed to be the backup 5. I think J. Mike had 12 tonight. He looked more comfortable tonight. But Kuminga and J. Mike, sometimes their situations, it's like whose number is Steve going to call? Tonight it was J. Mike.
Yeah, and I think it's probably going to be J. Mike most often because, you know, you just have a certain trust with a veteran. And J. Mike, once he's still getting comfortable with what the Warriors play. He said that in postgame. He said, you know, he's still getting there. And again, I have to stress this because if a guy like Kevin Durant, who came to the Warriors after playing in the league for 7, 8, 9, 10 years, needed a half season to kind of absorb and figure out what the Warriors were doing, then most guys are going to need some time. And so I think with J. Mike, you saw some of it tonight, where I thought tonight was his best game in terms of being able to read and react and be able to be productive on offense. So I'll give it to him.
All right, let me throw this at you. Whose three-point shooting do you like better, Kuminga's or J. Mike?
Ooh.
All right, we'll think about that as we go to break. Okay, see, I put him on the spot. All right.
Yeah, that's.
All right, Dubs Talk Live presented by Fit Aid. We'll be right back. We've got to talk about James Wiseman. Why? Because his first G League game is coming up tomorrow. All right, let's get into that a little bit when we return. Great. All right. Young Tom Smith was asking what's up with Moody. Got it. Otis Bird, how you doing? I don't know if this is a Rockets troll, but we've got somebody in here saying they got to lose the Rockets. Which, listen, let me take this seriously for a second.
Yes.
The Warriors have not been a good road team.
0-8.
The Rockets I think they've got 3 wins.
Rockets are bad.
Tonight. But I'm sure the Warriors are looking at this game, licking their chops. But you can't count, what did I say? Don't count a W before it hatches or before it's in hand.
You can't. I mean, yeah, Rockets lose again tonight. And so the Warriors, they can't look down on any opponent.
No.
They've already lost to the 3 worst teams in the East, okay? All 3 of them on one trip. Orlando, Detroit, and Charlotte.
Hornets,
And Charlotte.
And that was Steph's homecoming
That's
game.
the bottom 3 teams in the East right now, and they lost to all 3 of them. So you can't look down on any team. At that point, if you're the Warriors, you're saying, okay, we can't let this happen. Go out there and start losing to teams that have won 2 games, and we're one of the teams they beat. You know, you can't do that. And so they're better than that, and I'm pretty sure they will be better than that. I think this is going to be it's a back-to-back road trip, so it's not going to be easy.
Yeah.
But and especially, Klay is not likely to play both games. I mean, chances are he'll miss one of the games, and that's probably going to be the game in New Orleans.
Yeah.
So
I don't think he didn't get to.
I said
To the left.
Yeah.
Like this. My left. I mean, I'm.
Oh.
But look, I've got 2. It's almost like 2 ears.
Oh, I see.
2 lights. Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Welcome back to Dubs Talk Live, presented by Fit Aid. All right, the last time we heard from James Wiseman, he was saying he's looking at the G League as an opportunity. He just wants to go down there and play, and he will have that opportunity. Kerr explains he wants him down there for, something like 10 days, maybe a little bit more.
At least 10 days, yes.
And the first G League game that he will play in will be tomorrow. That's Saturday. That's a home game. Get your tickets now, I suppose.
If they're not already sold out,
but
because
it's
we want to
also,
go see 'em.
so it's Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, Friday, Saturday. There's a big batch of G League games right now. So,
Both home and away.
Yeah, Wiseman can get a really nice run with the team.
Well, I mean, the poor guy hasn't been able to play 5 and 6 and 7 weeks of games in a row.
Yeah.
You know, and this won't he won't be down there for 6 weeks or anything, but just to play a succession of games without having an injury or a sickness or something in the way gives him a chance to get some timing and some rhythm and to get a feel for what he's trying to do out there. When you're playing a few games here and there and you're getting hurt and you're out for a while, or whether it's a week or two or in his case a year, you know, it just takes a while. So I'm curious to see how he does, but I think the first few games is just going to be him trying to feel his way out. I want to see how he looks after games 5 or 6. After 5 or 6 games, 7 games, and see how he looks then.
Yeah, he's going to have the time to figure it out. We're going to talk about 30 minutes down there, lots of touches for James. And really, do you feel like he should kind of go down there? Do you want him to go down there with some swagger? You want him to remember who he is, what his potential is? I mean, he could really make this his playground.
I think any swagger he can add is good for him.
Yeah.
Because when you watch him play, you want him to be more assertive.
Meaner, even.
Yeah. You want him to be. I mean, he always says that Kevin Garnett is his role model.
Sure.
Play like that.
Yeah.
Kevin Garnett was a madman out there, you know. And so if you played, if James Wiseman, with his athleticism and his reach and his length and his ability, if he plays with that edge, that's a huge win for the Warriors. But he's not always bringing it, you know. And so they need to see that. I think he can bring that. We'll see. I think he's a nice guy, but you can be a nice guy on the court, off the court, and bring edge on the court.
Yeah, we will keep an eye on that tomorrow. James Wiseman making his G League debut this season. All right, so the Warriors address their elephants, plural, in the room. We got to see if they can build on that. For Klay Thompson, of 50% from the field, also got his first dunk in this game.
First dunk of the year.
Lots of guys feeling like
Klay got a dunk.
They should be feeling pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, a game like this is, like you said, it's a get-right game.
Yeah.
And you know, it's a perfect time for them to go on the road. So let's see what they carry on the road. They need to bring their defense.
All right, let's see. Are you going on the road?
I'm not going on the road. I'll be in the studio with you.
Yes, let's do it. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us on Dubs Talk Live. As always, we appreciate you watching. Check the podcast as well. And we'll be seeing you again soon. Not from the road.
I thought we might get some Steph sound.
Sorry about that. I'm sure work loves it when I say we're not on the road. My bad. Sorry. All right, guys. YouTube here. Let's see. Somebody's saying that Rockets game could be a trap game.
They should not have any trap games at this stage.
No,
I mean
they've
they've had too many pratfalls to look
not
at
after an 0-5 road trip.
No, you got to come out there with a vengeance. I mean, if the Warriors are right, then they'll go out in the first quarter and they'll outscore the Rockets by 10, 12, 15 points.
Yeah.
They'll make a statement early and they'll keep their foot on the gas all the way through.
There you go. All right, so the Warriors are 7-9 right now. If they can handle business on the roads, they could come back, right before Thanksgiving with the 500 average. So
yeah, I mean that would be. I mean the New Orleans games. New Orleans is pretty good.
They are tough.
Yeah,
well coached. That's Willie Green.
Yeah, and they've got some talent too. So I think New Orleans has a very good chance of being in the play-in mix, postseason mix, whether it's play-in or whatever. But I think they're good enough to win 40-plus games, and so that puts them in the mix.
Yeah, another team in the mix that's been a lot of fun. Just giving a shout-out to our sister crew on Kings pregame and postgame.
Yeah.
Victory Beam. That's a fun addition.
Yeah, the Kings, man. I mean, the sad part of it is that the Warriors and the Kings have never been good at the same time.
Yeah.
And you always want that.
I think it will be this season.
Yeah, and the Warriors and Lakers have never been championship contenders at the same time. It's always been one or the other.
Yeah.
And so let's get a rivalry going.
Sure.
It's always it was just Warriors Clippers for a while. That was it. So get us some California rivalry going, whether it's Sacramento or Clippers or whoever now.
Sure. Yeah.
Bring us something.
All right, we're keeping an eye
Let's
on you,
see it.
Zach. All right, thanks, Monty.
Yes, sir.
Thank
yes,
you guys.
ma'am.
Thanks for tuning in.